everyone, it's Mr. Evans. Today I wanted to discuss with you the main four mutes that trumpeters use throughout the majority of our playing. There really are only four, so once you develop these four mutes, you're pretty set by the time you're required to play on that. So we'll learn a little bit about each one here today, and you'll hear how they sound in relation to each other. The first mute we're going to learn about is the straight mute. Whenever there is a mute that is simply marked mute in your part for concert band or jazz band, this is primarily your default mute. So this mute will make you a little bit sharp. So when you put it in, breathe a little bit of warm air on the inside of your bell, and then put it on in, give it a little twist, make sure it doesn't fall out, and pull out your main tuning slide just a little bit more than what you are right here. These are primarily made out of aluminum. This one right here is made out of aluminum. It's a Dennis Wick mute, but there are Tom Crown mutes, Joe Rao mutes, and the red and white mutes that you'll probably see are the new stone-lined mutes, which are really, really good and your least expensive mute because they're made out of cardboard, but they still have the same characteristic type of sound. They're used in concert band, jazz band, marching band, chamber music. It's the most widely used mute, and it's the oldest of all the mutes as well. So I want to give you a little bit of a taste of what this mute sounds like on trumpet. The second mute we're going to talk about here today is the cup mute. The cup mute literally has a cup around it and is basically the same shape as a straight mute, in which some companies also have made this bell able to come off so that you could make it a straight mute without or a cup with. But right here, this is primarily the way that you'd want to play. This is a Dennis Wick mute. There are also Joe Rao mutes, Trumcore mutes, which are made out of wood. And then the new stone line mutes are again the red and white ones, which are the least expensive for most students. But actually I prefer that sound when I'm playing in a big band, just because that's the characteristic sound that you'll want to hear from those early recordings. So again, breathe a little bit of warm air, some condensation in there, give it a quarter twist, push in just a little bit, and the cup mute is the only one that will make you a little bit flat. So you want to push in just a little bit from where you normally are set. You use this in jazz band, concert band, a whole lot of all types of playing. But here's a little taste of what the cup mute sounds like. The third type of mute we're going to talk about here today is the Harmon Mute. Harmon is actually the brand of one of the most widely used mutes just like this, but this is actually called a bubble mute if you're to use the Joe Rao brand, or there's some makers that use it as a wah-wah or wow-wow type of mute, for which I'll describe here in just a little bit. But this is one that's used a lot in terms of jazz playing. Miles Davis really made this his go-to type of mute. This one is made out of aluminum. A lot of them are made out of aluminum, but this one is made out of copper, so it's a little bit heavier. So you want to be really careful when you breathe a little bit of condensation in here and then give it a twist, because these things will fall out, and as you can see, mine has fallen out a few times over the X number of years I've been playing, but this is one that'll make you really, really sharp, so you want to make sure you pull out just a little bit more than normal. And so here is a little interpretation of what the Harmon Mute sounds like on trumpet. And also, there's a stem that goes along with that. So you put the stem into the bottom of that mute, and it changes the sound. You can change the length of however much you want it in or out. But basically, you'll either want it all the way out or all the way in. So let's hear a little bit of the all in playing, and you can use it as the wah-wah type of sound that we're going for with it all the way in. The last mute we're going to talk about here today that completes the arsenal of the versatile trumpet player is the plunger mute. This plunger mute is literally a sync plunger you can find at any major hardware store. And I put a little cork at the very end of there just so it gives me a little bit more to hold on to. But really, you can have it without the cork. Just take out the stick from the sync plunger, or for trombones, or if you like a bigger plunger, you can use a toilet plunger. But that's really what it is. Make sure you get one new. Don't use a used one. But this one, you use a lot, kind of like what we did on the Harmon Mute. You use it to close and open the end of the trumpet, or where the sound is coming out. And so you get this really cool effect, like you're almost talking through the instrument. Okay? This is used a whole lot in jazz, pretty much exclusively in jazz. But this is a really cool effect that we use for the plunger mute. So there you have all 4 different mutes: the plunger, the Harmon, the cup, and the straight mute. All 4 of which you need as versatile trumpet players. So make sure you start acquiring them early. You don't have to get the most expensive ones. Just go ahead and start collecting them as you go, and then you can start making modifications later on.